Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to really tear up those old nursery rhymes, forget snips and snails and sugar and spice.
We're moving way past that.
We are diving deep into the modern evolution of the psychology of gender. We're going to use the latest research to understand how we actually define ourselves today.
And to start that journey, we absolutely need a clear vocabulary. It's essential. Our sources show that sex is that traditional categorization, based on genetic, chromosomal, anatomical differences.
The biological bucket, so to speak.
Right. And then you have gender, which is about the social meanings, the expectations, the roles that get ascribed to a particular sex.
Okay, that sounds like a very neat biological versus social split. But the material we looked at suggests that line is a lot fuzzier.
It is.
I mean, if sex is fundamentally biological, how can you argue it's also socially constructed? Aren't you just dismissing the biology at that point?
That is the crucial nuance. The argument is that both terms are constructed in a way. Think about it. Most cultures assign sex at birth based only on external genitalia.
Okay.
They often ignore any possible internal or chromosomal mismatches. So that insistence on what you can see on the outside means even the biological label is a simplification of a much more complex reality. The binary itself is an oversimplification.
Right. Let's unpack that complex reality then. The language has shifted so much, moving completely beyond a binary to, well, categories based on self-identification.
Exactly. And the vocabulary has expanded to reflect that lived experience. So you have cisgender for individuals who identify with the gender they were assigned at birth.
Cis, okay.
And then transgender for individuals who identify with the gender not assigned at birth. And it's important to remember, we use trans as an adjective here.
Not transgender.
Correct. And beyond that, you get into non-binary or genderqueer identities and even gender fluid for people who experience shifts over time.
So once we have that identity map, we can look at traits, and that brings up androgyny, possessing both stereotypical masculine and feminine traits. And the research here was fascinating. It said androgyny was linked to more positive outcomes for white and Latinx girls. But why not for everyone? Why didn't that hold true across the board?
Because it's so contextual.
Yeah.
For the boys in that study, fitting into that traditional masculine gender role still predicted a better quality of life.
So the old way still paid off for them, socially.
It suggests that, for some groups, the social rewards for conforming still outweigh the benefits of, say, psychological flexibility.
It really seems like all these definitions depend entirely on how we see the world. And that brings us right to this big theoretical fight. Essentialism versus constructivism.
Yes. Essentialism is this idea that characteristics like gender are universal. They're inherent, they're immutable, just a fixed part of you, which is then used to justify social roles.
Men lead, women